get into the uniqueness of what you're doing and how it could be incredible for investors shortly. But I think before that, we have to explain, especially those that are a little bit more newer, understanding alternatives and hedge funds, how they would, or in the past, have enacted diligence, research to help make a decision to be an investor. So let's talk about some models that were started years and years ago, and to some degree are certainly still around. Explain to our audience a little bit the fund of funds model.
Sure. Fund of funds were established to assist investors on really the promise of two criteria. One, access, and then two, information or due diligence. And the purpose of a fund of fund was to construct a portfolio of individual hedge fund strategies that when blended together would provide a more attractive risk return characteristic in terms of reducing the volatility of the overall portfolio while still maintaining a relatively high return base. And so fund of funds proliferated really in the early 2000s till about 2008, and were quite successful in garnering a tremendous amount of assets from both larger institutional investors, as well as family office and ultra high net worth individuals in a commingled structure.
I suppose a challenge to the fund-to-fund structure, although bringing value to the table, was that did come at a cost. So now we're adding to already the burden of fees on a hedge fund and adding a little bit more cost for the fund-to-fund structure.
Absolutely. So fund-to-funds, the fees that they originally started to charge on top of the hedge fund manager fees were typically an additional 1% and 10%. So the end investor would really be paying something closer to the 3% management fee, and then a blended kind of 20 for the managers and 10% on top of the fund-to-fund portfolio. That migrated over time to they were the first to feel tremendous amount of fee pressure. And so that migrated to lower fees. That business as independent entities, the few fund-to-fund groups that exist are large and exist inside of bank operations or very large asset managers, and rightfully so. The promise of access and the promise of information or differentiated information was just not true with fund-to-funds, and they didn't deliver what investors were seeking during this time period, and so they no longer exist.